from Times Square, where we come to you each week. That Kevin Show. Grateful to have you with us. And normally we're having a lot of fun, cutting up, doing some goofy stuff. Tonight we're asking you seriously, will you help us liberate the lives of women that have been taken captive, some of them for up to 30 years in length? They have been beaten. They have been raped. They have had their genitals mutilated. They have been verbally abused on a daily basis. And when I say verbally abused, I mean they've lost their birth name, and the people that address them call them a name that is so profane we can't even say it on the air. Can you imagine undergoing such a tremendously tragic and horrific and traumatic existence? That's the existence of slaves in northern Sudan. And Todd Chatman is back with us from CSI. And Todd, it's really amazing to talk about the solution, which we just discussed in the last segment, but understanding the context of what they're experiencing is really where the story is told. Tell us one.
Yeah, so Juk is a woman that was recently liberated from North Sudan, a life of captivity. She was actually abducted when she was a little girl. Some raiders came into her village, and they took her mom. They took Juk. They also, her grandma was there at the time, but her grandma was like, she's too old. She doesn't have any value, so they left her behind. But Juk was taken along with a bunch of other women and girls, and they were taken to a camp in North Sudan, and then they were dispersed to these various cattle ranchers and enslaved. And so over the intervening years, Juk just suffered all sorts of just heinous treatment. You talked about, the psychological abuse, physical abuse. Also, she was raped many, many times by her master, actually got pregnant twice, had 2 children with her master. And she was desperate to escape, but you have to understand the fear. I mean, they are told, these slaves, if you try to escape, we will kill you. You have no value to us outside of the work that you do and anything we demand of you. They're dehumanized. But one night, Juk just finally thought, well, look, trying to get free and dying in the process is better than, going on living like this. So she took one of her kids and was able to actually escape. She met up with a slave retriever that worked with CSI, and he was able to negotiate her freedom with her owner. And by the way, we don't pay cash to buy these people's freedom. We exchange their freedom with a cattle vaccine that these cattle ranchers, it's very valuable to them. Their cattle are
more valuable to them than the human.
Absolutely. And so, she was able to come back down to South Sudan, and she got her bag of hope, a start on a new life with one of her children. Thank God she was able to get out with one of her kids. But she, even though she's starting her new life, you can imagine that mom's heart. She hopes and prays that one day she'll be able to be reunited with her child that is still in the north, and the rest of her family as well. That's just one story, Kevin, out of thousands of people that CSI has been able to liberate over the last 25 years, thanks to the generosity of people like you. And that's so important. We cannot do it without people that just say, boy, this is wrong on every level. And are you kidding me? $250 can bring a human being into freedom and save them from all of that abuse, that horrible treatment. I'm in on that. And so if that's you, boy, we would love to hear from you. And if you could even amp that up a little bit, $500, $1,000, every $250 you give, it rescues a human being. It's beautiful.
It really is. The phone number is 888-342-1010, 888-342-1010. That is a toll-free call. And when you call, it only takes about 2 minutes to be on and off with all of the information. And friends, I would encourage you to do this. We know of, at least this year, 192 women that have been identified and that we can liberate. But we cannot do it if we don't have the bag of hope supplied. And the bulk of what your $250 provides is the bag of hope. We call it a bag. It's like a whole wagon full of stuff, because it's several bags. It's a year's worth of grain that they can already eat, and it's already been harvested. And then there's another whole bag of seed that they can plant for future crops. So as you can imagine, those two things alone, huge items. And then there's a goat, and then there's all the sleeping and tarps and other things. They give them utensils for gardening and cooking and fishing, all the stuff that they need to really start their life over again. And then they start the journey to their final stop, which is being reunited with family, or at least the region where they were originally taken from. And it is a really joyous thing. Todd Chatman, we're going to talk to you a few times this year. Thank you for stopping by on our first night tonight. And please keep up the good work and come back and see us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kevin, for allowing me to be on.
You got it. 888-342-1010 is that number. 888-342-1010 and bringherhome.org online. Bring her home, because we're bringing the slaves back to home. Bringherhome.org online if you want to go and give that gift right now. Kevin McCullough coming right back from New York.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.